Chapter 3, Lesson 2, Add Integers. Vocabulary Startup. Integers like 2 and -2 are called opposites because they are the same distance from 0, but on opposite sides. We're going to complete the graphic organizers about opposites. So if we are given the value of 3, we want to find the opposite of 3. Well, the value of 3 is 3 units from 0. So, I'm sorry, 3 units to the right of 0. So I'm going to go 3 units to the left of 0, and that gives me the answer of -3. So a real-world example of opposites, hot and cold. A math example of opposites, well, we have -3 and 3. If we have the value of 17, the opposite would be -17. Two integers that are opposites are also called additive inverses. The additive inverse property states that the sum of any number and its additive inverse is 0. You can show 2 plus -2 on a number line. So if we have the value of 0 and we add 2, that's going to the right. That's the +2. And if we add a -2, that's going to the left. That gives us a total of 0. Because 2 plus -2, they simplify each other to 0. So real-world link. The temperature outside is -5 degrees. Name the temperature that would make the sum of the two temperatures 0 degrees. Well, if it helps, we can use a number line. If I have 0, and I want to go to -5, that's going to the left on my number line. So I'm subtracting 5 to begin with. So if I want to do the inverse and get back to 0, that means I'm going to add 5. So what would make the sum of the two temperatures 0 degrees? It would be adding 5 degrees. Or you could just write it as 5 degrees. Without having the plus sign in front, that indicates that it is adding, or that's positive number. So add integers with the same sign. Key part right here is the same sign. To add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. The sum is positive if both integers are positive. Negative if both integers are negative. So again, positive if both numbers are positive. Negative if both numbers are negative. So some examples, 7 plus 4 equals 11. Well, both of them are positive, so you have a positive answer. Now, if you had -7 plus -4, that equals -11. Another way you could write it is the absolute value of -7 plus the absolute value of -4 equals 7 plus 4, and 7 plus 4 gives you the answer of 11. But because they were originally both negative numbers, the final answer needs to be a -11. So let's take number 1 as an example. We're going to find -3 plus -2. So we have a vertical number line. This is typically shown when we're dealing with temperatures. So we have our 0 right here. That's our 0 value. First, we're going to go down 3 to indicate our -3, and we're going to plot there. Then we're going to add an additional -2. That means we go further down. That leaves us at -5. So negative 3 plus negative 2 gives you a total of a negative 5. Number 2, we're going to find negative 26 plus negative 17. Well, this one is a little more challenging with showing on a number line. So, showing this mathematically, the absolute value of negative 26 plus the absolute value of negative 17 becomes 26 plus 17, which is 43. Now my answer is not 43, and that's because 26 and 17 are both negative numbers. So because they are both negative, my answer needs to be negative. So at the end, I'm adding negative with my 43. Letter A through C. We're going to try these problems and see if we understand it. So negative 5 plus negative 7. Well, I could do a vertical number line or I could do a horizontal. Either way is absolutely fine. So I'm actually going to do a horizontal one. And I'm going to start at the number 0. And I'm going to go to the left 5. Again, I'm going to the left 5 to indicate that I'm subtracting 5. And then I want to continue going to the left and subtract 7 more. I'm going to label my number line. And I get the answer of negative 12. Letter B, negative 10 plus negative 4. Well, again, I can show on a number line. I'm actually going to show down here. So I'm going to start at 0 on the right, and then I'm going to go to the left 10. And I'm going to plot negative 10. Then I'm going to add another negative 4, so I'm going to continue going to the left 4. And I'm going to label each of these as well. So just to show, I started at 0 and I went to left 10, so that's subtracting 10. And then I continue going to the left when I subtract an additional 4, which gives me my final answer of a negative 14. All right, letter C. Well, these numbers are a little bit larger, so I'm going to show using absolute value. I do know my answer is going to be negative because 14 and 16 are both negative numbers, so I'll be going to the left. So the absolute value of negative 14 plus the absolute value of negative 16 becomes 14 plus 16. Again, absolute value of any number is going to be a positive, no matter what. 14 plus 16 gives you 30. But I have to make sure that I add my negative sign back in. So it gives me negative 30 as my answer. So now we're going to try adding integers with different signs. This time we have different signs. To add integers with different signs, subtract their absolute values. The sum is positive if the positive integer's absolute value is greater. It's negative if the negative integer's absolute value is greater. So some examples. 9 plus negative 4 equals 5. So this is an example of the first one. 9 is a larger positive number. 9 is the larger absolute value, and therefore it takes on the positive sign. Negative 9 plus 4 equals negative 5. that's indicating that the absolute value is greater with the -9. If it helps, you can highlight to know that they're differentiated. Let's continue. When you add integers with different signs, start at 0. Move right for positive integers, move left for negative integers. So the sum of p plus q is located a distance that's absolute value of q from p. So that's just saying, like in example 3, where you find 5 plus -3. Well, you start at the 0. Then you're going to add 5. That means you're going to the right 5. So you're adding 5 to this point. Then from there, you want to go to the left 3 because you were taking away 3. That's -3. That leaves you with the value at 2. So 5 plus -3 equals 2. We're going to find -3 plus 2. Well, I'm going to start at 0. And I'm going to go to the left 3. So I'm subtracting 3. That puts me at the -3. Then from there, I'm going to start at -3, and I'm going to go to the right 2 because I'm adding 2. So that gives me my final answer of -1. All right, got it? Let's do these problems to find out. So I'm going to use a number line to help me. I'll label this letter D. 6 plus -7. Okay, well, I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to plot that point. Because I started at 0, and then I went to the right 6. Well, now I need to go to the left 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the same thing as subtracting 7. So that leaves me at the answer of -1. So 6 plus -7 equals -1. All right, let's try letter E. -15 plus 19. Starting at 0, and I'm going to go to the right. Sorry, I stand corrected. I'm going to put this 0 over to the right instead, and I'm going to go to the left 15. And the reason why I'm going to the left 15 instead of going to the right is because it says -15. Negative numbers are to the left of 0. Now, as you could see, my numbers are getting super squished. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to label every other number. Meaning -1, -3, -5. So each of these are still worth 1. It's just that now my number line isn't as congested. So that's a way to try to keep yourself more organized. So start at 0. I'm going to the left 15 because this is -15. So I plot my point right there. Then I want to add 19, which means I'm going to be going to the right. Well, there's 15, but I still need to keep going. I had to go another 4 to the right because 19 minus 15 gives me 4. So negative 15 plus 19 gives me the answer of a positive 4. Now if we go back and look at letter E, 15 and 19, I know it says negative 15. But if you did the absolute value of negative 15, that gives you 15. 15 and 19, you can simplify it. I'm sorry. 19 is a larger number than 15. 19 is a positive. So that means that the answer is going to be a positive 4. Number 5, we're going to find 7 plus negative 7. So if we take our number line, we start at 0, we go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I plot that point, that's adding 7. Well, now I want to add a negative 7. So if I start at 7 and I go to the left and subtract 7, that means that my final answer is in blue. The final answer is 0. Number 6, to find negative 8 plus 3, again, let's draw that on a number line. Start at 0, and I go to the left 8. So negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8. If you notice in example 5, I went by odds, but this example I went by evens. It doesn't matter, and you could label every single point. It's just that this makes it a little simpler. So if I start at 0, and I go to the left negative 8, I'm going to plot that point. Now I want to add 3. When I add 3, I go to the right 3. That leaves me at the value of negative 5. So when you have negative 8 plus 3, that equals a negative 5. Number 7, find 2 plus negative 15 plus negative 2. Well, we're going to take the commutative property of addition, meaning we're going to add negative 15 plus negative 2, because they're both negative numbers. And with the commutative property of addition, that means that we can go and we can switch the order of these two, because it doesn't matter which order we add. So I'm going to take and rewrite that 2 plus negative 15, 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 15. Well, I'm making a pattern, and I know that 2 plus negative 2 equals 0, because they're additive inverses. They're opposites. So 0 plus negative 15 simplifies down to negative 15. So letter F. We're going to try this problem by drawing it out with a number line. All right, first number is 10. So here's 0. I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, labeling every other one. And I'm going to plot it at 10. So I started at 0, and I went to the right and added 10. Well, now I want to go and I want to go to the left because I want to subtract 12. So I go to the left 12. Well, I need to correct my number line a little bit, or extend my number line. So this leaves me at negative 2 as my answer. So for F, the answer is negative 2. For letter G, again, drawing the number line. Well, here's 0. I'm going to go to left 13. I'm going to label every other one. I am now going to plot negative 13, because if I start at 0 and I go to left 13, I am at negative 13. Well, now I want to add 18. Well, I know 18 is bigger than 13, so I have to continue going to the right. Well, 18 minus 13 gives me 5. So when I extend that, I wind up with a value of 5. All right, letter H. I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. Negative 14 plus the quantity negative 6 plus 6. I'm going to put these two values of negative 6 and 6 into brackets to indicate that I want to combine those first. So negative 14 plus, well, negative 6 plus 6 is a 0. Those are additive inverses. Those are 0 pairs. So it simplifies down to 0. So negative 14 plus 0 equals negative 14. Let's continue. Number 8, a roller coaster starts at point A. It goes up 20 feet, down 32 feet, and then up 16 feet to point B. Write an addition sentence to find the height at point B in relation to point A. Then find the sum and explain its meaning. Well, if I go back and I reread it, a roller coaster starts at point A. It goes up 20 feet, then down 32 feet, and lastly, up 16 feet to point B. So I'm going to take those different pieces of information. Going up 20 feet, that's a positive 20. Going down 32 feet, well, we're going to add a negative 32. And then up 16 feet, we're going to add 16. Well, I want to put my like terms together, meaning I want to put my positive 20 and 16 together. So I'm going to use the commutative property of addition, where that indicates that I can add in whichever order I would like, and I can rearrange my problem. So 20 plus 16 plus negative 32. 20 plus 16 gives me the answer of 36 plus negative 32. Well, this is the same thing as saying 36 minus 32, which is a 4. So the answer is 4 feet. Point B is 4 feet higher than point A. All right, so let's try this problem to find out if we understand it. The temperature is negative 3 degrees. An hour later, it drops 6 degrees. And 2 hours later, it rises 4 degrees. Write an addition expression to describe this situation, then find the sum and explain its meaning. Let's pick out the key information. The temperature is negative 3 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's where we start. Negative 3 degrees. I'm just going to write negative 3. An hour later, it drops 6 degrees. So when we're saying that it drops 6 degrees, that means that we are adding a negative 6. And 2 hours from that, It rises 4 degrees. So that means that we want to add 4. So now we're going to simplify this. I'm going to start by solving -3 plus -6. Now I'm using a bracket instead of a parenthesis, parenthesis, just to indicate that I'm sorry, because -6 is already in parentheses. So this becomes -9 plus 4. -9 plus 4 becomes -5. So now we need to explain what the meaning is. Well, the temperature is -5 degrees